because of the change, the shift in how the city is preparing the budget, City Manager Canizares requested that we present our budget as a department of the city. And in years past, according to our contract with the city, our board, you would approve our budget, and then I would take that board-approved budget in front of city council for their final blessing. Last year, because of the pandemic, we did it a little differently. We put the cart before the horse, and city council approved our budget, and then it came back to us, but that was because of time. We were trying to wait as long as we possibly could to figure things out. So Cheryl and I had to sort of scramble and punt and put together a proposed budget. Very much is a draft. City council heard it on Tuesday and did not have any questions about it. So we have some choices. I put it on the agenda just so that we had choices and we could still be in compliance with Texas Open Meetings Act. You can vote right now whether to go through this proposed draft budget today as this board. Our next meeting, we will have 2 new board members. We are losing Dr. Nelson and Ms. Luna. So I was wanting this board to approve this budget just because you have the historical institutional knowledge. Argument could be made for the new board to approve it because it will be the money that they're spending. So the choice is up to this board whether we discuss this budget today or table it until the next meeting.
I'd be more comfortable with tabling it until the next meeting since in effect, we only have 2 members here of the incoming
They
board.
have to live with it moving forward.
Yeah, so I would feel more comfortable with tabling it if that's everyone agrees.
I do have a question. I'm surprised that the city is going to continue making contributions.
That's what I wanted to see. Maybe we could do a hybrid where, with the expertise of Shirley and Jack here, we could just maybe not do the hour-long or 2-hour-long thing, but just maybe take 5 or 10 minutes to look at what's different from this next year for last year, and be able to ask why and get their input one final time, and then when the next time we meet, we'll be teaching them kind of about it. They're going to be learning as much as they are going to be deciding.
Sure.
Is that? I mean, I don't. If that wastes a bunch of time, takes a bunch of time, I don't want to do it. But
well, there's not a lot really.
That's what I'm
Jack
thinking.
brought up the most probably stark thing on there is the city, I think, didn't want to do cold turkey, just cutting us off. So Pam and I kind of came up with had a starting point number, and then I worked on it a little bit. Basically, it means that the city will pay for the health and dental insurance, which they already do, and just bill us for it. They just won't bill us for it. And the insurance and utilities are also it's the directors and the liability, and liability insurance, and the utilities, which they also pay and bill us for. So what we were trying to do is make it things that were already in the realm of city doing it. The only other thing that's included in that number is the Simple View website cost because it's very high. It was a contract that was signed a lot of years ago when, I don't know, I wasn't here.
So it's not a surprise that it's jumped up?
No, and part
Okay.
of our original agreement with them when they came forth with the offer of a subsidy is that it would be a stair-stepped 3-year agreement. And so I think in that original agreement, if we had underperformed because of the pandemic, it was supposed to be like 80,000. It's not too far off from what it was, but they are just trying to wean us off slowly.
Okay. Yeah, I did notice that yesterday when I was looking.
And when does that Simple View contract end?
We are in our 3rd year, so this will be the year that we put together an RFP to put it out for bid to find a more affordable but still meets our needs supplier. Yeah,
so.
But this is this is the final year?
Yeah, I don't.
It's a
remember
3-year
I
contract.
don't remember exactly if it's calendar year or if it follows our fiscal year.
Yeah, okay.
I don't remember that, but
Okay,
we will have.
good deal.
But right now, that's what they're proposing. Pam has emphasized greatly that this is a draft. She said, right now, the city budget does not balance. And everybody, every department across the board is gonna get looked at. We may or may not be part of cuts, additions, whatever, but it is a draft. So anything that's approved, I don't know by next month if they'll even have that.
Yeah.
They may not have the changes yet, I don't know, that's.
My hope is that we will continue to outperform and reach a point where we can put money into reserves, because since I've been here, we have been taking out and we need to replenish that.
I'm glad to see the bump in the advertising budget. And I know that the $74,000 that's there is a reduced amount, that we've reduced that previously, so in essence, we're really just going back to where we used to be on the
We're almost
advertising
there, yeah.
budget.
That's what I was gonna ask, where were we, for the,
I've got the
two budgets.
1920 number for advertising was 135,000.
okay, so we're still a little low.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully that gets to stay at least where it is. Do you have-
Yeah, we will, is that where we're gonna have to cut if they cut our 66?
Yeah, the thing of it is, we are down to such bare bones that we don't have a lot of wiggle room anywhere. I mean, you know, our contracts cost what our contracts cost. We've got salary. We've done our best. You know, that marketing cut down was what we needed to do to preserve our grandfathered in rates, and maintain our brand integrity without having to scrap it all and start from scratch down the road when we could afford more. So we're just having to get really creative where we can. So, yeah, I mean, because we can't reduce salaries.
Nope.
You know, if we lose somebody, we don't necessarily have to fill that position. But, you know, certainly that's not an ideal
No.
scenario. So there's not a whole lot that we have the capability. We are looking at changing over our elevator service contract. That will amount in some savings, but you know, at a certain point, it's not enough to really move the needle a whole lot. But
What are we cutting? I noticed what guest services is getting cut in half. What?
that got split into, now we have events and guest services, so it's just in a different line item. Is that right, Cheryl?
Yes. This year, due to the conditions, let's just say, Joanna stepped up and did the movie nights and the concerts and all of these things that were more sort of local. But it put us into a situation where we were taking money in and then having expenses against it, where our guest services was just an expense account. It was just funding Mike, taking care of everybody that came in the building. So this really put a different spin on the accounting. I had to have an income account, and then, of course, the first thing Ashley and Joanna wanna know is, well, how much money we make? I said, well, it's all going in one big pile, it's all coming out of one big pile, and that's not terribly great accounting either. So, for this year, my first question was, are we gonna continue to do this? And the answer was, probably so. Well, I'm trying to get this method a little bit better so we can tell what these events do. And we don't have, what I tell them, they don't like hearing this, but I said, we don't have to make money on these things, we just have to not lose money.
Right.
That's really the bottom line. And Joanna knows if she's spending too much, she has to go get a sponsor, and she does. She's really good at that.
She is good.
She talks people out of money all the time.
That is a valuable trait in this world.
Yes, it is. Yes, especially in this.
Especially to us right now.
But that's why that it looks a little different, but it's, I mean, what we're doing is we're finding out we're not spending that much. I mean, I don't know, I haven't even talked to them about it, but in my perspective, we're not mailing out or sending out as much. We have so much more available online that I think people are doing that as opposed to still come in and get the brochures out, but he's not mailing near as many of them out. People can find out the information online, so some of this is because of technology, we don't need this. Gotta adjust.
So with these events that, you're still continuing to plan, you expect that there will still be, though, income coming in, I mean.
They almost have to. If they don't, then we're not gonna be able to do them because we don't
Okay.
have a funding source.
Okay.
The city is not at a point now where they are able to or willing to increase our percentage up from the 72.5% of hot tax that we receive. And the general fund is not in a state that they can afford that, yet we have a community that is hungry for these. So at some point, the expectation to perform doesn't match the funding to make us able to do that. So we have to create a self-sustaining thing. So we made $12,600 of the drive-in movies. Not coincidentally, the first Full Moon Summer Concert cost about $12,000.
Was that's the way the Eagles at the end, it was $12,000 that it cost us?
All in, we've bumped it up to say about 15,000, but realistically, we spent what we made at the drive-in movie. That's what that money went to fund. And so now, next Saturday, we have another concert, but we don't have seed money for that. So we are dependent upon sponsors.
And I'll talk about that in my report.
Okay.
Is there
Well, I
anything
commend you
else?
guys for it.
The,
I mean, it sounds great to say income coming in. It's not that easy to get income coming in. I just think it's wonderful that whatever you do, you do.
And a $10 ticket concert is not terrible.
Exactly.
I mean,
No.
But we have costs. I mean, we have to put the fences around there and the insurance and we've got, should I talk about?
I will say, I'm satisfied with this if we
Yeah.
want to move down the agenda.
Okay, I think we just need a vote to table.
Table it.
Make a motion that we table approving the budget until the next meeting.
I second.
Okay, any opposed? Okay. Budget is tabled, so we'll have the executive director's report.
Do we have,
the
Actually,
project
yeah, sorry, you
presentation.
don't have
Sorry
the
about
agenda.
that.
We have our interns, they presented their projects yesterday, to Mike, Sherry, Joanna, and I, in the downstairs basement, and we filmed it so that you guys could see. You also have, their materials on your desk, and so the first one on top is the wedding brochure, and that's the video I'm gonna play right now.
before you start. So we did have, just a refresh, we have 2 unpaid summer interns, Carly Thompson and Casey Foster, and they both came to us unsolicited, requesting the opportunity, and my expectation to them going in was for them to have a project that they could have complete ownership of from start to finish, and they made their choices, and that's what you're about to see.
Oh, what's who's the first one, the wedding or the market?
The wedding.
Okay.
This is Casey.
Major and
Hi, my name is Casey. I'm a senior at SFA. I'm a business management major with a minor in hospitality. I have no idea what I want to do, but I'm thinking of it planning possibly. So for my summer internship project, I made a wedding guide for Nacogdoches. I made a little brochure that they can show y'all at the meeting. But I'm going to go through a
Can you
little
turn
bit
the volume up
PowerPoint,
any?
and then
We're
I'll
trying.
Yeah, let me pause it for a minute. I don't know how they do that. Sorry, y'all. Do you
Is
guys
it-
have individual?
Is it on that little screen behind you?
Oh.
I turned mine off. I should not have touched it.
They're all one of us.
brochure and show y'all. Okay, so why have your wedding in Nacogdoches exactly? What is the interest there? Here's some highlights. So we are in the beautiful piney woods, scenic backgrounds. All your pictures will obviously look beautiful. We're the perfect point for a destination wedding without having to like get on a plane and go over an ocean or anything crazy like that. Our town is historic and full of so many different heritage points. You have the freedom to bring in your own culture. We're very customizable, tons of different options. All of the different venues and planners can fit the wedding to your exact needs. And Nacogdoches Cares, our whole community would surround you, and whatever venues and vendors you contacted, we would all put our heart and soul to make sure that your wedding was as great as you want it to be. Alrighty, so having your wedding here in Nacogdoches, we have over 20 wedding and event venues just right here within the county of Nacogdoches. So that's including some of our outskirting towns. And they would cater to all your different styles as well. It's not just, that historic barn look. That is quite a few of them, but we also have some more modern venues that you could choose from. Tons of different options there, which I've listed those in the brochure as well. We have tons of different catering options from all local restaurants, even some from the outskirts of town as well. And that could bring in whether it be buffet or a plated dinner, whichever you would prefer. Some of our local bakeries could also provide some of your cakes and treats and all of that sort of stuff. We also have local flower shops. You can see the theme here is going local and really supporting those Nacogdoches businesses. And then of course, photography companies as well. We like to think that Nacogdoches could provide it all within this county. And then the convenience of planning your wedding here. We, like I said, want to make it easy on you. You're our customers, so in order to make your planning process easier, we have this Nacogdoches wedding guide that I have made, a brochure that you can just pick up, kind of read over. That's your starting point for research. And then if you go to the Visit Nacogdoches website, you can find the same information as the brochure has, but with links and all of that, so you can directly contact those vendors. And then we also have a couple local wedding and event planners that you could contact through our website to really get the ball rolling for you, because no one needs to plan their wedding all by themselves. That's scary. And then these are just some shots of some of our local Nacogdoches weddings that have happened in the past few years at some of our favorite venues. Okay, so how are you going to make this wedding happen? I personally think that you should make it a weekend affair. We have plenty of ways for your guests and all of your relatives, family members, wedding party to stay. Make it a whole weekend, a whole night, whichever you prefer. So we have hotel options, bed and breakfast options. We have historic country inns, and then some resort options as well. So lots of different options there. And then I put some pictures up here. So this is our Fredonia Hotel, which was recently renovated and restored to its former glory. This is going to be Pine Creek Country Inn, which is off the loop, close to Lake Nacogdoches, some pretty views out there. This is the Jones House Bed and Breakfast, and then this is Mockingbird Suites Bed and Breakfast. So lots of really cute options there. Your whole wedding party could stay in one bed and breakfast. That would be fun. And then what else could you do while you're in Nacogdoches? If you're gonna stay the night, you have a whole weekend of stuff to do besides your rehearsal and wedding. So these are some of our Nacogdoches highlights, which I've listed in there as well. So we have antiques and boutiques, outdoor adventures. We have tons of family-friendly activities. You could take the kids out, all that kind of stuff. But we also have a fun nightlife for the adults as well. Historic sites, we have our downtown visitor center and countless restaurants and bars to enjoy. So that is a little overview, and I'll now hand out these brochures for y'all to look over. And I'll sort of flip through it with y'all. So when you open up this front centerfold, you can see I've specifically listed all of our local Nacogdoches lodging, florists, other rental companies such as University Rentals to get tents and those sort of things. All of the venues are going to be in our center, and then we have catering, bakery, and photography going to be on the inside. So this is strictly wedding planning. And then as you flip it over on the back side, you'll see some Nacogdoches highlights. I put some refreshment places, restaurants, bars, some of our local favorites. And then I put some activities that you could do, such as the walking trails, going to the Estee Planetarium, all kinds of cool stuff like that. And then at the bottom, I've listed some of our historic sites that your family could enjoy while in town. So I hope that you choose to have your wedding in Nacogdoches, and I hope that y'all choose to use this brochure to plan your wedding as well. Thank you.
In the interest of time, we did have questioning, but I'm not going to play the questions for y'all, so I can go ahead and play Carly's video.
We need to send her on the road to some of these bridal fairs.
I thought that was a great presentation.
Yeah, and we really like her brochure. It might be something that we incorporate into our materials, definitely online. And so I think she did a great job, and with very little guidance from us too. Like, she did that all on her own. Very good. This is Carly Thompson. She is a hospitality major, and her project is a vendor event, a small business vendor event.
Okay, my name is Carly, and I am a junior hospitality major at SFA with a focus in meeting and planning. For my project, I chose to do the event Nacogdoches Market Days. So this event was inspired by an event in my hometown, Deer Park, Texas. Every month they host their market days where small businesses can come together, put up a tent, and it gives like the people in the city an opportunity to come and browse all kinds of different small businesses they may have not known about before. So who is this for? This is intended to benefit both the small business market and the community. The business owners are encouraged to participate and set up their own booth to promote their products and services. And the community is encouraged to join, shop around, listen to live music, and eat at the different food trucks. This event would probably be held at Festival Park, so there's a stage for any performers, there is water and electricity supply for all the food trucks, and plenty of area to set up the tents. To give y'all a better idea, it would resemble Blueberry Festival whenever they set up their vendors in the park too. So whenever I was doing my research, I went through Facebook mainly, and I found previous events that have been hosted kind of similar, but a much smaller scale. And these are some of the small businesses that have participated in those, so I think they would be very willing to participate in ours as well. There's some clothing brands on here, there's jewelry and accessories, food, which includes a lot of the food trucks, which I know we like to work with, and gifts and other things, such as tumblers, wax melt, things like that. So how does this benefit the CVB? So potentially we'd be able to offer a vendor spot for probably about $25, $30. What they make at these events would probably far exceed that, so it shouldn't be an issue, and that money could come straight back to the CVB for future events. Also, new relationships between the CVB and the community could be made, which would also increase attendance for future events. Any questions?
So after that, we talked about what they learned from their presentations, if they found out anything about Nacogdoches that they didn't know before, and both of them both were expressed that they learned so much through the CVB about Nacogdoches that they didn't know we had to offer that we did. So it was really cool to reach them, and they're still with us, but for another week or two. But I think they've been so helpful, and hopefully they'll tell all of their friends about what we do.
Yes.
Would you charge for the first one, or would you?
Thank y'all so much for
Thank you.
allowing those girls to work with the CVB. I'm sure it was a great learning experience for them.
And I think that this is something that, you know, we obviously probably know some vendors that were left off here and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but this format and this idea and presenting in that way, I mean, I think that there's a potential for it to put heads. I mean, even if we just market this around Nacogdoches, that is a potential to keep people that would be going away for a wedding here, which is going to bring other people in, you know, family and friends from out of town to stay in our hotels. And so I think that this could work on the road, very definitely. I think that there's a compelling case to be made if you live in Houston or Dallas to come get married here, if you want to get out to the country but don't want to get on an airplane. But I also think that it could be a source of revenue, just having these resources kind of in one spot and putting it in people's mind that they could do this here in Nacogdoches. So I like
second that, because as a business owner, we get these questions every week. And
Really?
I
You
don't
just
have
ask.
it. Oh, yeah. They're
they
always
do.
asking us, you know, where can we cater? Where can we do this? Where can we? And I don't have it at my fingertips, and I feel awful suggesting just one or two when I know there are more.
Right.
And favoring one or two because that's who I know,
Yeah.
you know, when there could be more. And so this is going to, if you decide to do this, I will definitely want some
I
out
think
of
we
it.
will. You know, it might not look exactly like this, so
Of
it fits in
course.
our brand and stuff like that, and
Right.
be more inclusive. But it's definitely a great starting point, and
Good
so
idea.
we
Well,
should
and
really excel.
Everything could be, the one missing on here, of course, is the wedding site and our website with the wedding page, which
Yeah.
would be the direct.
Exactly.
Which we don't have right now, so it gave me, no, I mean,
No, we don't.
yeah, we have like venues, but not wedding specific, and that's a missed opportunity,
Yeah.
so. we
There's a
definitely-
lot more photographers than those, and.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so many.
There's a.
But it's a
and
start,
caterers,
yeah.
and,
It's a good idea.
Now, I haven't been able to make one, but did we do maybe in the spring a kind of something that was like Band on the Bricks on Fridays? It was like Friday lunch
Oh, yeah.
and was there a band this time, this year? Okay.
talking about NACSAC, I'll talk about that.
Okay. A lot of things, so maybe that I have questions about are gonna come when you do your report, so I'll just wait.
Thank you again for that. That was fun to watch. And now the executive director's report.
Yes. So first thing, we did get new board appointments approved at the city council meeting before this last one. There was a special meeting this past Tuesday. But at the meeting before that, the new board appointments for the CVB were announced. And we've had positions roll off before. This one just hurts. So we are rolling off Dr. Jack and Shirley. Wanda is remaining. We are gaining Alex Rank and Larry King. So thank you for your service. We will be installing bricks in the plaza in recognition of your years of service to advancing
Thank you for that.
tourism. And I just, gosh, this one just feels, it's more personal. For those that don't know, when back in the 90s, during my 1.0 Nacogdoches experience, I worked for Residence Life. I was hall director at Kerr Hall. Jamie Fain at the time was the director of housing, and Denise Haddix was the assistant director of housing, and our big boss was Dr. Jack. And he was then, as he is now, just a character, but was always funny and fair, and gosh, you just knew that stuff was being handled. Like, it's just instilled confidence, but was the type of leader, I might cry, he's the type of leader that really makes you want to be a better leader. And so I probably, I left in, 95, and went and lived a whole life, and honestly, no disrespect, didn't really give Dr. Jack Nelson two thoughts. And then flash forward to my interview here for this job, and I walked down the stairs of the basement, and right there in front of my face was that mug. And I think I was like, Dr. Jack. I mean, just flooding full of memories, and just from that second, nothing has changed. She's still just a stalwart leader, and my gosh, thank you. Thank you. And Shirley is always that calm, cool, constant in there, and the voice of reason, and the gentle reminders, and it's just been an honor. So, thank you.
Awesome. If there were enough of us, we'd do a standing ovation. I'm telling you. That's how we feel.
Well, thank you very much. The honor has been mine, and I'm sure Dr. Jack feels the same way. It's been a real pleasure and a privilege to learn so much about CVB work. So.
In August, we will be going to the TACVB in Conroe at Margaritaville. And we're looking forward to that. It'll be Ashley's first industry conference, and I'm excited for her to get to meet her counterparts at other destinations. I think here it's no different than in the tourism and hospitality industry. You can have the best bosses and instructors in the world, but you will always learn the most from your peers that are in their own front lines doing what you do. And so I'm really excited to see what she learns and what she brings back. And I think it'll be a great, if we could take Mike, we would. That one hotel room is going to get pretty crowded at that point. Yeah, and somebody has to mind the store at home, but it should be a fun. If Ashley and I survive sharing a room with Joanna, that'll be a. Yeah, so we're excited about TACVB. We were recently approached with the request from City Manager Canizares and Mayor Mize to reach out to our counterparts across the Angelina River in Lufkin to see where we can share in mission, marketing, and costs to draw people to our area. And I gave that task to Joanna. And so on August the 9th, we will have the first Reach Across the River Tourism Summit here in Nacogdoches. Both city managers will be here, both mayors will be here. We'll have lunch at the Fredonia. And then their CVB counterparts, their Expo Center counterparts, and their cultural key players will be, so that we can sort of look at this year to come and see where we do have those opportunities to promote our region, both destinations, and maybe share in some of the costs so that we can each make our limited marketing dollars go a little bit further. So we're excited about that Reach Across the River Tourism Summit and hope that it's something that that gets a good foothold, that we can grow, and that is just sort of a nod to the spirit of cooperation between the two communities that historically have sort of been a little competitive.
Well, and I've noticed right when Mayor Mize came in, I saw in the media, on social media, where he and City Manager Canizares were right off the bat in Lufkin, and they were meeting with the city manager, their counterparts down there, and so that's always been something that we've wanted to try and capitalize on. But you're right, there's some competitiveness that has prevented it. But we've always wanted to capitalize on, and I think one of the ways that we did recently was with the Way Station. It's in between Nacogdoches and Lufkin, and it was a way for us both to benefit from it and work on it together. I wonder when we get to heads and beds, we are going to end up in a final showdown, whatever the events are. We're going to want those heads in our beds, not their beds. How do you market for like the Blueberry Festival, or event that's going to happen in two different cities and two different counties, and both of them rely on where the visitor sleeps? Or would we be working on more broader areas, or is that just gonna be something thorny we're gonna have to figure out?
Yeah, we're gonna.
So y'all don't already have any solutions to that
No.
problem
For
yet?
the Blueberry, it just happens naturally.
Yeah.
Our hotels fill up weeks before the event, and then Lufkin starts getting like the
Well,
aftershocks.
actually, this was the first year that Lufkin saw the results from Blueberry.
Really?
Yeah, because on Saturday, traditionally that evening, the hotels have rooms. It is the Friday night rule,
Oh.
but something was occurring this weekend where there was an event on Sunday, so the hotels were not only full on Saturday, but Sunday as well.
Oh, wow.
There have been sports events, again, that information isn't sometimes easily here. But we have crews in from Halliburton that are totally taking up a Super 8, they're taking up half of the Hilton, or the Hampton, part of the Hilton.
And Hampton had a bunch of rooms offline for their
Oh, the renovation.
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 So it was a confluence of different circumstances that led to that. But yeah, the only way that we're gonna figure it out is just to muck it out. And it does get a little dicey, not legally necessarily, but our hoteliers generate that revenue to promote more stays in Nacogdoches. So that's what that money is intended to be utilized for. It is very destination specific. So I would imagine it's going to start off broad, but we're gonna win some and we're gonna lose some. But honestly, it's nothing that we're not doing anyway. Since I've been here, we've always done our hub and spoke, where we highlight our surrounding communities, and we know that sometimes somebody's gonna stay in center, and sometimes they'll stay with us. If we're lucky, they'll split the difference and do one of each. So we'll figure it out. But I think just having the conversation is the best first step.
100%.
And when, y'all remember when Jerry Huffman was in charge of the chamber down there? 30 years ago, we did this a lot more. But with time and age and decades, it's just something that's gotten away from us. But we're a region that can attract, for both cities. If we can get Houston and Dallas, when I was in casino marketing, we targeted Texas market 4 times a year to travel to Vegas. And so if we can get multiple weekends from Houston, Dallas, Austin, if they stay here, if they stay there, and it's a multiplier. You know, you give, you shall receive. We'll get some, they'll get some. It's really dependent on what's going on in the community.
And I just look forward to meeting, just like Mayor Mize and City Manager Cannavaros did. I just look forward to meeting them and seeing what they're doing, because really, I mean, there are distinct differences, which is good. But, I mean, we're still marketing the beautiful deep East Texas area and our history here and our natural beauty. And so, you know, I mean, I think we can do nothing but learn. They steal our ideas, we steal theirs, and everybody wins.
And they already have, trust me.
Well, that's because we have such good ones.
And then last for me, at the last regular city council meeting, I delivered our mid-year report to council, and it was very well received. If you are interested in seeing that deck, I can email that out to you. But our numbers all look really, really good, and yeah, it was a good report to give, and it's been a minute since I had anything good to say with COVID, but that concludes my report.
Thank you, Sherry. Any other questions? Okay, and we'll have the sales report.
Oh, that would be me. Do I need to go up there? Or am I good?
If you want to.
I'm gonna stay back here. I feel like I'm gonna be emotional as I get up there. The ladies will tell you, and probably Mike, it's been tough, because I'm working my bahootie off, and I'm also getting older, so I'm tired and I'm crotchety, and part of what I want to discuss today is where I do need help from our board moving forward, and that is in volunteers. We have several new events. It's our directive now. I feel very confident in creating events, seeing the big picture of the events, bringing in partners, doing all the things that make it so. What I'm having a difficulty in is in the minutia of staffing and hustling, getting people just to be out there. Some of the things that, with your influence and who you know in this community, I need your help. I need to have people that are gonna show up on our Next Snack Fridays, which are our food truck events on Friday day. They have a little siesta midterm, and then we're doing live music in the evenings on Friday between 6 and 8, 5 and 7, depending on the time of the year and the heat. Very well received. Huge, high five from people that, because I talk to everybody, tons of people here from out of town that are down on our streets on that Friday afternoon. Happy hour time, looking for something to do. We have bands. We're not doing the one hits. No disrespect, love them, but it's not background music. We want people to be drawn, and we want them to hear the sounds, and we're not on that main, we're behind the stage. So, I need help.
So tell me, because I want to go to those, and I agree. I mean, it's kind of, for folks like, probably most like Shay and myself, and I don't know about our new board members coming on, but folks that have like kids that still of the age that are still hanging out with their parents. Like those events would be good things, because we're all ex-Jenners, and we want our kids to grow up seeing concerts and milling around and seeing that and being out doing that kind of thing. I felt like I had we all have had a crazy spring, so this isn't an excuse, but I feel things loosening up a little bit, and I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to say, hey, I'm gonna do this, and call like 5 couple friends or 10 couple friends, and see what kind of response I can get. Let's eat dinner, and there'll be there's food trucks there for dinner,
Yes,
and then there's music from 6 to 8. So
that's right.
let's just meet down there, eat some, good, tasty, cheap food truck food. Let the kids run around, get exhausted, and we'll listen to a little music, and we'll leave wherever we want. But I think you're right in that, especially your homegrowns like me and Shay are, like Shay and I are, I think that we have a real ability to connect with a broad number of people across different demographics just because we've been here so long.
Yeah.
And because we have kids of that age that draw us in to school activities and sports and stuff like that.
Okay, perfect example, this Sunday, we're doing a pool pop-up party, because I'm one of those women that has always been in a pool, I don't care what size it is. I call these perfect for a cocktail drink. You sit in it, it's a kid pool, fit 6 or 8. Got your beer right here, whatever, you're good to go. We're gonna do that on Sunday at the brewery, and then I'm bringing it for next night Friday, because it's hot. So, if you got your kid, you gotta man your kid. We're only gonna let people in the water that has reserved that pool. Because Ashley won't make my sign that has pool, there's no pee in pool, But anyway, the idea is to have something.
Thank you,
neat.
Ashley.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you
I
for the
want-
backup.
I want to, I swear, I told everyone, I want us to be, we may not have a river around, but we got brick streets and we got pools. This is a, great redneck way, and I'm gonna make Texas mama.
And I'll say,
Or the Guinness Book of World Records.
that back area behind our building right out there, I mean, I know we can't shut down 7 and 21, but I mean, it's fairly easy in the evenings.
We do.
Yeah, I mean, if we could get some synergy around it, and it could kind of be a thing like where people just stop there when they pick up their kids from daycare, or when they meet their husband and wife meet down there.
We're already doing it once a month. We've done it since February.
When's the next
We've
one?
had one run out.
Next
It's
Friday.
Next Friday,
Fourth Friday of every month.
fourth Friday. Next Fridays.
But your point is that you need people to volunteer
Help.
to work at these
I was
events,
gonna say,
right?
part of this is bringing your friends, and part of it is she needs
Just, yeah.
Okay, so there's Mike,
access to
there's
volunteers.
Mike, Ashley, and Sherry and I.
And my husband, he's PRN now.
Right. We have 2, who I work to the bone. They are leaving the day of Naxnack. I do not have them for the concert.
So I wonder if we could create, just like Mike does, I know every board member is supposed to volunteer at least once a quarter to work on a Saturday or a Sunday at the CVB to volunteer to work the desk. And Mike sends me an
Sign
email
up
saying to
genius.
sign up.
Who tried that?
Have you,
I'm telling you, right now, I bring in family, I bring in friends that don't live here to help me.
Our volunteer
Because
base
we
is,
cannot get people to help.
I wonder, can you send, could you have an
JCs.
email list and send everybody and send every board member and every previous board member an email saying, I need volunteers?
I agree with that. What did you say about the JCs? Because
That's the JCs. Here's what I need. I need 2 guys, I need men. I need to be specific. I don't know if
it's a lot of lifting of chairs up and
It
down
is
our
manual,
stairs,
it
and
is
so,
labor.
yeah.
So 2
And
men.
I've already had surgery on my shoulder last year, and it's still not right. That's how much I am lifting chairs, tables, tents, and hence my emotion and my little disgruntlement here. I'm tired.
Mhm.
I shouldn't have to do this, and we shouldn't have to ask 1,000 times for people to help us with these events that we give tickets to, we give a volunteer shirt to. I mean, it's a fun event. We're doing tribute bands, hence a lot from your directive.
Mhm.
Bring people back. We're talking to SFA alumni to use these events as a reunion push. We've had this on the books for quite some time. All of SFA is gonna be out of town that weekend because of their initiative. I get that. I don't try to take it personally, but as mentioned, I'm tired. It's a lot of work, and I am doing it from 1 to 100, A to Z. I am the creator. I hadn't had time to go get sponsors, but I have them for next time. I have
We've
them for our
reached
next
out.
fiscal year.
We've done everything that we can, and we've made the asks. It's just we need some beef, we need some muscle behind the asks. We have requests out to SFA Athletics, to the JCs, anybody that we can think of. So if you have connections with any group that has healthy, well-bodied people that can do this,
And you're not just
sort of.
talking about just this month, you're
No,
talking
no,
about
the
every month.
fourth Friday of every month.
Yeah, we need.
The fraternities and sororities.
That's what I was wondering, if we have a business fraternity.
Yeah, that's what I was
I'm
thinking
gonna
in the
circle back
summer,
to the
but
JCs. This is perfect for them.
Okay.
This is the kind of thing I see them doing all over town, and they're a great,
We'll see.
and
know,
even the
well,
junior forum, they have service hours.
they don't,
Well, they
no,
help us
they don't
already.
need,
Yeah.
they do, and if we need 2 strong men every Friday, I think that I can find those.
Right.
I'm
And
gonna
it's
try.
like for no time, so come and enjoy yourself and do what we do. We still have fun. Just help us put it up
How long does it take?
and write it down.
What time would they,
Like an hour before, like probably 4 o'clock, moving tables out there, and then at the end of the night at 8 o'clock.
Right, now this
Okay.
one will be different because we're gonna roll down the hill because the concert's the next day. One of the things with our events is the best way to broker for out-of-town guests, and just so you know, the first concert we had, Nacogdoches, Lufkin, as far as the people that who came. The next market was Houston, Arlington, and Dallas.
oh, wow.
Okay, so that's where our numbers are. We're still getting people from out of town. But we want to give them not just a Saturday event. We like kicking off that Friday afternoon. It helps the city, because I have a crew, the AT, that helps with the logistics, road closures, all the parts of a regular city event. And it helps us all to be, in our effort to coordinate a full event versus scattered 1,000, because we're all tired. Nobody is a spring chicken. But from the perspective of our involvement, this is a directive we're gonna continue, which I believe it is. I got the event part down. I'm good at it, always have. I've got sponsorships down. But if I don't have time to do what I'm good at, because I'm moving tables or I'm having to find volunteers, it's starting to wear thin on me. And these ladies know it.
Well, the organizations I've worked with that relied on volunteer, we got a lot better when one of our board members had a connection. You are a member of the JCs, or you
But I know.
are part of the athletic department or at SFA. We always had better, it's just better coming from a personal standpoint.
I'm gonna
Just
email
an
you
email coming
about
out does not.
what we need
necessarily-
when specifically
Okay,
later
yeah, so,
today.
other than that,
Who we need when
uh,
specifically.
and I do apologize because I thought I'd probably get a motion
Can
on
I interject something here?
Yeah.
If you're unable to obtain volunteers on a regular basis to give you some relief, I would recommend hiring.
We can hire, and the city is willing to, we have to pay overtime.
You can only do so much with volunteers, but when you get into a crisis and you really need them there, and this one's gone there, and this one's gone there, I'm not sure I wouldn't set up some type of mechanism that we can go somewhere and get some hired help.
That's great. I mean, it's the same with, as wonderful as our girls have been. They're gone the day before the concert. Why? Because we're not paying them. I wouldn't stay. I worked them once already. It killed them, and they're young. But I have,
Well, I think where we're at right now is we're still so early in this event. We have to prove that that we're capable of putting on a quality event that does bring in out-of-towners. It is, there is success. It has legs to it. It's going to sustain. And then we can justify. We can 100% hire people or get Parks and Rec crew in there. We are, they expect to be paid as well. Our problem is we don't have the funding to pay for all of that, but we need the justification of the event to qualify for the funding. So if we can just get over this big speed bump, then I think things like that will work themselves out, and we won't be so dependent on volunteers. But right now, we're trying to do everything for $1.50,
yeah.
but make it look like it's,
And I'm sure you've thought of this option, so I shouldn't even bring it up, but we used to have, the sheriff's department would bring in their people.
Gotta pay them too.
They
but-
did
Is that
that for
not possible?
Blueberry, right, or Bluegrass?
Are you talking about the,
Inmates.
They're inmates,
Yeah.
yeah.
you know, we might be able to do that. I think it's just a.
That has to be orchestrated because they need
Of course.
chaperones and
Sure.
transportation and,
Yeah, and that's a good idea. It's been brought up. I just don't know, you know.
I know, it used to happen,
It's difficult
but
for us to even get police
sure.
officers to, with overtime, they know they're getting paid to be at those events.
It's
A lot of that has to, well, it's not that it's just hot, it's just, you know, it's shorthandedness,
Yeah.
who's available.
I mean,
Um,
I'm sure with COVID, a lot of that volunteer from the sheriff's department went away, but I would think by now that they used to clean up the highway, and I haven't seen them do any of that for a couple of
Well,
years.
to me, it's open air. The whole reason we've done our events
Yeah,
through COVID is
exactly.
because they were safe.
Exactly.
None of this is, to me,
A
COVID
problem,
related.
right.
I mean, we got wide open.
I agree.
Right.
And I think it's just a matter of, you know, sometimes it takes a long, you know, you see a great partnership that's been going on for years, but you don't see what it took to get that relationship started and to get all the kinks worked out so that you know, you have these two groups that work together. One thing I'll say about Nacogdoches, and I agree with Jack 100% that, you know, we always need to have a plan B. And a solid plan B so that we don't have to cancel events, especially something that might be ticketed. But, you know, Nacogdoches is one of those towns where for all the things that we can, you know, pick on it about, one thing that we don't lack here is people that want to contribute. I mean, I see so many different people working at different events. Like, I saw people working at the Blueberry event that, you know, I saw working the Rotary bike ride. You know, I mean, there are a lot of people that if, you know, I mean, because we have time on our hands and because we like to do fun things, and it's not like we have Six Flags and Disney World and all that here, you know, part of the fun sometimes is getting together with your friends and working a tent. And people have a heart for that here. So I want to help you. I'm going to email you probably this afternoon. I've got notes here. And I'm going to try and start up some conversations with the JCs first and then kind of go from there. But I think that we just haven't found our match yet, but our group yet of people. But
Getting the word out is really.
yeah, and just sitting down with them and telling them how important this is to the future in Nacogdoches, to the culture here, and how much the people who live here get out of it, and also how it's you know, building our reputation even outside of our community. And I think that, you know, I mean, if you just hammer it with them, if I hammer it with them long enough, I sell insurance for a living, so I think I can sell this.
Well, good, I hope you can, because I've already spoken with the JCs about aligning our July 4th weekend, being a Freedom Fest weekend. We could do a concert, it's just a weekend. And I think one of the tasks for us was how to promote Nacogdoches' longest weekend, called Summer, and having music and a series of concerts is one of them. So,
I love
it would
it.
help the JCs, it makes it look bigger. Nobody that comes knows if it's the JCs, me, your daddy, they come for the weekend. And so it just seems like, again, being smart with who we have in a way where we're all benefiting, which is the community, but we're doing our job, would be greatly appreciated. So the final concert on the books is not in the summer, but it is October 22nd. It is a Friday. It's a Knack Snack, and it is with Fab Five, the Fab Five, which is a Beatle tribute band, hugely popular out of Houston. They dress the part. They are big entertainers, and they will be a huge draw. So that's coming up.
And is the one in September going to be on the 25th?
Not in September.
there's one in
They're even
September.
good, because that's a Dudette barbecue, and I'm going to be out of town at the
Okay,
wedding.
and speaking of just the calendar, we have a promotions calendar. This is something that we've all wanted since we've been working here. July 2021 through next year. So this will be all the evergreen events. We're trying to see what will work so we can kind of put things in. Everything that is potentially something that a consumer or visitor can look at, whether local or not,
Joanna, what she's really excelled at in her new position over permitting and everything is we're able now to position all these one-off events into a solid block of time to justify somebody not just making a day trip but staying for the whole weekend. So that October date for the Beatles, that is the fourth Friday, so it's Snack Friday. The Nacogdoches Cigar Company is having their Tobaccodoches, and we have a concert the next day. So, you know, as we can, if I were in another group that wanted to plan an event out in the community, I certainly would have my eyes on the CVB to see where best to position my event in all of that, so you can leverage your attendance off of all of that. So we're really, really close to sealing the deal, and I feel Joanna's frustration and hear it. So if we can just get some momentum with all hands on deck, I think we'll be in a good place. But Joanna is she's not lying. She is working herself ragged into the bone, and every night when I go to sleep and every morning when I wake up, I hope that it's a good day for her. I send all the good juju her way because it is falling on her, but she is performing stellarly, and I am proud of her, and I hope you are as well.
Well, but therein lies my recommendation is, don't burn your people out. And you're getting to that point, I think.
Oh, she's tinged. She's scorched.
Well,
She
I mean,
burnt.
I think you get a sense of my personality. I am like, yeah, I love everybody, I'm gonna rock and roll, but boy, when I get like this.
You would not make a good martyr, though.
And next Friday, I can be at least one, or is it Saturday that we need people at 4?
We need people both Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
Friday night, we need help moving equipment from Snack Friday to down at the park, and then Saturday, we'll need help with cleanup.
Right, okay, so
Clean up.
next weekend, Snack Friday, music, roll down the hill. Meanwhile, there's a movie going on in the park. Fence is up, so we are doing all this. That's the way I roll. Give it to me, we're gonna rock it, but I need bodies to help me.
And we have the carts and everything we need.
What kind of, no, not for that night.
We have Joanna's truck.
We have my truck.
Okay, good.
I mean,
Good truck.
this is the kind of stuff where I need the love for people to help, because if I have to think one more thing, I'm gonna explode.
Don't lose your mind.
I'll have to sneak away, but I'll do it.
Anything else, Jeff? We gotta.
Move on.
Okay, just quick report for me. Things are popping on social media. We've had 16.1 thousand users on Google find us in June, so that just keeps going up and up. I think last month when I told y'all it was in like the 13,000, so it's 3,000 more people that found us in June than May. Our Facebook reach in June was 56,000. That's mostly in part to our ads for the Full Moon concert. Ticket sales are a little bit behind. Joanna wants to kill me. So if you guys know of anybody who wants to buy some tickets, please let me know so Joanna doesn't cut my head off. And then our Facebook page is up to 12,950 likes, almost 13,000. I think it's interesting how our likes kind of mirror SFA's enrollments. We're always trying to get over that 13,000. And then Instagram, we're at about 3,000 followers. We really want to get to the 10,000 follower mark because then we can start linking in our stories, which is how you get people to book tickets, book Airbnbs, book all kinds of things. So Wanda or anyone who has a connection, if anybody wants to partner to do a giveaway on Instagram, like maybe give away, and stay at the Fredonia or something like that. I was hoping John would be here. Then maybe we can both benefit from that. But I'm really interested in boosting our Instagram following. That seems to be the place where people are picking up travel ideas now. And that's it for me.
Alrighty. Any
Mike, you got
questions
anything?
for Ashley?
Oh yeah, any questions for me? Sorry.
All right, thank you very much. And now we'll have the visitor center
Just
report.
nothing really big, we're just continuing to see visitors come in. In June, I have an average of about 35 people a day. And that's Monday through Sunday. And of course, it doesn't count Blueberry Festival, we can't count that day. But it went really smoothly this time. Talking about the city, they provided us with wonderful staff to keep our restrooms clean, and they came in and cleaned everything up that evening, and for our Sunday volunteers to be open. so really well, but people still come in and we get brag every day about our visitor center and how it's the best one they've ever seen. And of course, I have to agree with them too.
So how many came in on Monday, Riverside?
Yeah.
This week, that was June, I did the 34 average. This week, there were like 60, 70 people came in on Monday and Tuesday. These were families traveling with little kids, and we give them a Otis Town sticker and a coloring book and all that good stuff, so.
Very good.
And
It was hopping.
we have a new, for years and years and years, we had the two ladies that came in and cleaned the CVB, and this year they've gone away and they've been replaced with a gentleman named Carlton, and he is the sweetest soul and the hardest worker. He has stripped, wax, has such attention to detail, and he takes such pride in his work, and he is such a pleasure to be around. If y'all get the opportunity, if you could reach out to, I believe he answers to Brian Bray, but if you could drop a line if you feel so inclined. We do continue to get compliments on the cleanliness and just the general overall appearance of the visitor center, and that would not be possible without Carlton, and we're happy to have him in our little family. He and Ashley kind of had a little brother-sister scuff up one day, but he is a sweet, sweet soul and a good addition over there, because he cares, and he loves to hear the people brag on how clean the restrooms
And
are.
the young lady that keeps the plant.
Oh yeah, always, Christy, yeah.
Is amazing.
Yeah, she is.
But you can feel the cleanliness when you walk in there.
He's on his hands
our
and
little
knees
scuff
scrubbing
was-
old wax off the floor, you know.
It was only because he wasn't able to get into the building early enough. Like, I got there at 8:30 and he wanted to be in there right at 8 o'clock. So that's all it was. But that just shows how hard of a worker he is. He wants to get in there and do his job. He's not like sitting there playing on his phone.
He comes to work at 3 in the morning.
He
Yeah.
And then he found me, Joanna, can I get it? Sure,
Oh, excuse me, I've gotta go up with the business.
Okay.
No,
Thank
that,
you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Very good. Alrighty, we'll set our date for your next meeting. And I don't have that in front of me, so
it'll be the third Thursday of August.
So the 19th.
August 19. Alrighty. Well, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it.
Alright, and a second?
A second.
Alright, we are adjourned.
We will miss you guys.
I'm gonna miss you all.